Being busy is exhausting. I cannot remember the last time I had a full day with nothing to do and nothing planned. To cope with my busy lifestyle, I have put systems in place which I heavily rely on to get by day in, day out, and today I'm going to talk about one in particular. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese, and today's video is all about utilizing lists to organize yourself. Now, before I even start talking about the specifics of today's topic, I'm going to start with the summary. Using a list will definitely reduce stress. It will help you stay accountable to the obligations and commitments that you make, and it will also help you not get caught out from a bill that is creeping up on you or an event that might be important that you need to remember. When I say this, I don't mean it lightly. Every single person on this planet should incorporate lists into their daily life in some format. Now, there are 3 subtopics surrounding this overarching topic that I'm going to dive a bit deeper into throughout this video. They include how using lists have impacted my life, what types of lists I actually use and maintain, and what tools I use to manage them. So naturally, let's start with how using lists have impacted my life. Back when I was in high school, I really didn't have that many obligations. I knew where I needed to be and when I needed to be there. The only thing I really needed to keep track of were when my shifts were at my local supermarket job because they changed week to week. Fast forward all the way to today where I work a 9-to-5 job remotely and from home. I manage 2 investment properties. I play social sport 2 times a week. I actually do things within my social groups and my social life, which take planning and organization because everyone's busy in today's day and age. And I try to stick to a 2 video per week upload schedule to YouTube, which I've done pretty consistently since I started and committed to doing this, which I'm kind of proud of, to be honest. All of those activities, now being a fully fledged adult, come with a swag of bills and people that I need to interact with and deal with consistently on a consistent basis that I need to keep track of. There are a lot of different inputs that I need to manage to make sure I stay on top of all of it, otherwise it just falls apart. It's not as simple as maintaining a baby name list in my phone anymore or a list of future dog names, even though I technically do have both of those lists still in my phone. Now, this is probably going to sound kind of obvious and probably a little bit simple, but where do lists fall into this mix of complexity, of inputs, of things that I need to keep track of? Simply put, I use a wide variety of lists which allow me to focus all of my attention on either doing the activity or planning out the activity that I'm going to be doing so that I don't have to put energy and effort into remembering when something's going to occur. I know it sounds really stupid, but I actually know people who just, everything's in here. They don't write anything down, they don't plan anything out. And then from time to time they get caught out because they forget something. They might not be up to date with changes that have been made to the plans, and it all kind of falls apart in their own little way, which can become problematic, especially if money's involved. Building on that, using lists have definitely made me a more reliable person. It's a lot easier to book something in and write something down, write myself a reminder, and I'll talk about where I write all these things down and where I put all this information in a moment, but it definitely has made me more reliable because I'm now able to get a reminder when something's coming up that I've committed to. It's a big deal, especially as you're an adult. Time is precious. If you step on their toes enough, like you annoy them because you miss out on doing something that you had planned with them, or you have to cancel because you've double booked, people don't like that. It's quite frustrating. But not only have lists helped hold me accountable to other people, they've also helped hold me accountable to myself because I do lots of different things for myself. I set myself challenges, goals, tasks, and having a list system, allocating a period of time to do what I need to do for myself lets me work on them and progress through them without them also feeling overwhelming. Let's keep building from here as well. Using lists to help hold me accountable have definitely played a big part on improving my mental health as well. I am someone who really likes structure and organization. Using lists have helped me not get overwhelmed with how busy and how much I've got going on in my day-to-day life. I still absolutely have my bad days. Everyone has their bad days. Sometimes it's just a little bit too much. You take on too much at once. It's overwhelming. Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to say that I never have my bad days, but overall, this system has allowed me to focus on what's important, get things done every day, and make a little bit of progress in my own eyes. And that's a really great thing. I really enjoy using these systems, and that's why I guess I'm talking about it today. So to wrap up how lists have impacted my life, I'm simply going to say that using them is a great motivational tool to help boost productivity. I get a lot done with the system I've put in place. It's been nothing but beneficial, and I highly encourage people to take this into your own hands if it's something that you're not doing right now, and actually build a system surrounding lists and reminders that will help you with your day-to-day feel a little bit less overwhelmed, be more reliable, more accountable, and get things done. Now let's move on to the types of lists that I actually use. For this part of the video, I'm going to mix the platforms that I use in line with the types of lists that I use because they kind of are intertwined, and talking about them together just makes sense. I'm going to start with an online platform called Notion. I've talked about it plenty of times on my channel before. I am not sponsored by them whatsoever. I just really like using the service. I think it's very clean, very polished, and very easy to use, and it's free. I use Notion for a wide range of long-term lists, and I primarily use it to keep track of everything YouTube. This includes things like video titles, what stage of their development they are in, because there are multiple stages that I need to go through, when they have been published, and any additional information that I might need to quickly find in the future to reference between videos, because I like to link videos, because what I'm creating on YouTube, what I'm trying to create is an intertwined story that basically people can hop from video to video, which builds and builds and builds to the point where you can implement these systems into your own life, and hopefully they're beneficial. I also use Notion to keep track of anything I'm working on that can't be completed in a short period of time. I have a sheet called Targets, which lets me easily put in info for my long-term to-do list items. I also keep a list of future purchases to be made, which includes gift ideas for upcoming birthdays. I keep a list of the TV shows I'm watching and what episodes I'm up to, as well as maintaining my own reading list, which I've talked about in other videos, and you can definitely find them on the channel if you're interested in seeing what I'm reading. Overall, like I said, Notion is a great tool that I've got a lot of value out of using, and it's completely free. There's no more to it. Next up is my calendar. About 5 years ago, I migrated from a hard physical copy that I used to keep hung up in my room that I would write things in every date that I had something on, to my Apple Calendar, because I have an iPhone, and I have to tell you that it is probably my most used app. It keeps me sane. I love it. It's the best decision I made regarding lists ever, because it's the best thing in the world. I cannot advocate this enough. Use a digital calendar and put everything in it. I use my calendar every single day. I put almost every single thing that requires a reminder into it, and I make sure that I set an appropriate reminder depending on how important the event is. Again, there's not really much more to this. I highly recommend people using a digital calendar. It will change your life in terms of organization, especially if you're someone who needs a little bit of structure. And finally, like I mentioned earlier, I use the Notes app on my phone to keep track of anything that isn't really that important, and it's just a little bit of fun. Things like future baby names, future dog names, just to name a few. I've used my notes on my phone for a really long time, but decided to migrate some of the more important things into my calendar and Notion. So the notes is realistically just for short-term notes, things that I might just need to just take something down, jot something down, and then get back to it quickly in the near future. The most exciting thing that I really have in my notes on my phone is my bucket list, and that's something that's personal to me. It's not really that important to anyone else. It just basically has where I want to travel in the world, things that I'd like to do with people that I'd like to do them with, and that's something that I'm constantly adding to, and I like to just browse every now and then and think about, oh, what could I potentially do next? It's kind of exciting to think about. There's not much more to that as well. Now, the only other form of list that I really use, and it's not very often that I do use this, but I still do from time to time, is a hard copy handwritten list. I'll get a piece of paper from a notepad, and on it, I'll write down what I need to do for any given day. And the reason I do this, I know it's a little bit old school, but the reason I do it is because I really like the sensation of being able to tick something off or cross something off of my list once I accomplish it. Every now and then I just need a little bit of motivation. So what I do the night before is I'll write down anything that's important on that list, and I will go away the next day and just try and chuck as many of them off the list as I possibly can. Did I say chuck? Cross as many of them off the list as I possibly can. So in summary, even though it might be blatantly obvious, the thing that makes these tools so good is that they make it easy to organize tasks, and there are lots of different ways that you can go about putting these tasks into your list. It's why I use them, it's why I really enjoy using them, and it's why I will continue to use them into the future. They give me the ability to plan in the short term and the long term, and they also allow me to prioritize what's important and when it's important to do it. As an added bonus, my calendar is synced to my email, and Notion is an online app that I can access from anywhere in the world, meaning as long as I have an internet connection, I can basically read what I need to be doing on any given day from anywhere in the world. And the best thing about them is that once you set up these tools, once you set up these systems, they only take a few minutes every day to maintain, yet they offer mountains of value because, for example, a birthday is reoccurring every single year. Imagine having a reminder that reminds you at 8 a.m. that it's someone's birthday, and you can flick them a nice little message saying, hey, happy birthday, without having to put any thought into it. And they might receive that text and go, oh, wow, they remembered. How good. It's as simple as that. I know it sounds dumb, but trust me, people love this shit. I can't say anything else. Like, it's just such a great way and such a simple way to not forget things. I guess my one-liner to end today's video would be that once I started using these systems properly, once I have them in place and ready to go, my productivity shot up big time. It's something that I will keep doing for the rest of my life. I definitely love how I've set this system up. It works for me really well, and I encourage you to give it a go yourself. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget to turn on bell notifications, like this video and subscribe down below. It really does help the channel, and I really do appreciate the support. And I'm going to leave you there. Have a good day, have a good week, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.